If you were with us a few minutes ago, you came along for a tour of Phil Sidoti's basement, which, by the way, is more of a museum than a basement. Memorabilia, artifacts, and collectible treasure on top of New York Yankees treasure. But where did his passion for the Bombers begin? For that answer, we head back to the basement.
Phil and I are hanging out down here in Monument Park, the one that's about 150 miles or so north of the one in the Bronx. And first of all, tell me the idea to create this monument to the Yankees down here.
Well, you know, my take on it was I really wanted to honor the guys that I grew up with, you know, the core four, Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera, Jorge Posada, and Andy Pettitte. And so I kind of designed it where I paid homage to them, gave each of them their own section down here, but then also recognized the guys that some people kind of forget. You know, you don't win those championships without Bernie Williams, without Paul O'Neill, without Tino Martinez. So in the basement, I put a couple little tribute sections dedicated to them. Each of the core four has their own, but then also not forgetting the history and all the retired numbers. You know, running out of space on this wall if they keep retiring numbers, but you know,
house.
Exactly. So you know, you can't forget about the legends like Lou Gehrig, Joe DiMaggio, Babe Ruth. So you know, I made sure they were included down here with the numbers, but my big take on it was I want to honor the guys I grew up with. You know, the '96, '98 teams, all those great championship teams we had. So I really designed it to look like that, to honor those guys.
There are a lot of Yankees fans or diehard fans of any team, any sport that are going to have a jersey, might have one autographed picture. At what point did it go beyond that for you? I
mean, it was probably in high school when I really started following them more. You know, with the 2009 World Series was really a big moment for me. But I mean, it's been like this pretty much, I think, forever, as long as I can remember. I mean, when I lived at home with my parents, I used to have the retired numbers on paper hanging in my basement wall because I wanted something, and I was like, well, that'll be cool, even if it's made in, you know, word art or whatever it is. But I mean, it really I can't really pinpoint the exact time. It's just, it's always been in my heart and what I like to do, and sharing it with friends and family is most important to me.
I got to ask you, when you met your now wife, and she's a Yankees fan, she has to be, right, to live with you, but did you kind of explain that I'm more passionate about this team than maybe most? Was that something you put on the table very early on? Well,
luckily, her whole family's also diehard Yankee fans. So the way it works out is, you know, we're both 100% Italian. We both went to the same high school. We're high school sweethearts. We've been together since we were 16 years old. So we've always had that connection. So, you know, her mother is a huge Yankee fan. Her grandmother was an absolute huge Yankee fan. So it was just like, it flowed perfectly. I mean, she never questioned any of this stuff because she knew how much it meant to me, and she knew how much the Yankees meant to my family and her family. So, I mean, it's just been a perfect storm, I guess.
But I mean, at any point, it's not cheap to put this together. Does she ever question the money being spent on it?
She asks, you know, she does ask, and, you know, I make up for it at anniversaries and Christmas. So, but, you know, she's been great. She loves the Yankees, too. Like I said, the whole family's into it, and it's great to share that with them. And, you know, yeah, she's been very good. I mean, she gave me the whole basement to do this, so I got you know, definitely a cool thing.
You know, I'm hesitant to even say this out loud, but what if someday your son decides, Dad, I don't know if I want to be a Yankees fan?
I don't think it's possible. I mean, I really don't. I mean, when he was born, I think within 30 seconds, he already had a Yankee onesie or something on him. So, but no, I mean, that's also what's very special to me is being able to share that with my son. He was there last week at the stadium, so. Yeah, it ain't happening. I mean, there's no way. If it does, I don't know what I would do. I'd be devastated. So
let's talk about last week. And take me through the experience. What was the best part for you?
I mean, like I said, just sharing it with my family, having them there for something like that, giving them the opportunity to share that with me, and meeting the players, meeting the Yankee staff. It was awesome. I got to go on the field and watch batting practice with my father. And like I said, he's a diehard Yankee fan, and growing up, I always watched the games with him. So we had a special moment together on the field. But definitely sharing that with my friends and family, and having them a part of that day, it was very special for me.
Did you play baseball as a kid?
I did. Yes.
Ever at a high level?
I played varsity baseball at Colony. But that's about it.
So you never truly, I guess, maybe in Little League, but once you got to high school, never truly believed you could be standing with other Yankees as a peer, you know, wearing the pinstripes as a player, but now here you are talking to them. Developing relationships with them. Must have been mind-blowing.
It was incredible, yeah. I mean, yeah, growing up, most of my time in baseball was on the bench anyway. But, you know, yeah, but having that opportunity, walking through the tunnel, walking into the dugout, you know, shaking hands with Joe Girardi and Mark Teixeira, and meeting the baby bombers, you know, Aaron Judge and Tyler Austin and Gary Sanchez. I mean, man, he's been on a roll. So it was unbelievable.
What did you guys talk about?
I mean, Tyler Austin was asking me about my son, how he was doing, you know, where I'm from. Mark Teixeira was asking me similar questions, and then he took his batting gloves off and signed them and gave them to me, which is really cool. Reggie Jackson was there, and I talked to him, and then Joe Girardi, you know, I was talking to him a lot, you know, trying to pick his brain about certain things, and he was really cool. You know, these guys deal with this every day, and for them to take the time to show respect to me and my family and give me the opportunity to talk to them was really cool. It was really cool.
You think you'll be able to stay in contact with any of them?
Well, you know, it's funny. Shortly after the game, I got a notification on Twitter that Didi was following me on Twitter, which is, that alone was insane. So I messaged him, you know, wishing him luck in the Boston series and telling him how much I appreciated how he treated my family and my son and everybody. And he wrote back saying that I was one of them.
Wow.
That, you know, as the biggest fan, that it was a pleasure to meet me and my family, and that, you know, I'm just like one of them, and he hopes someday we get to meet again. So that alone was incredible. And the Yankees started following me on Twitter too. So anytime I'm posting during the game, they've been retweeting and stuff. So that's been incredible. Absolutely incredible.
And tell us about these chairs.
Yeah, so these chairs are actually from the original Yankee Stadium. They pulled these out in 2008, right before the demolition. So I got these. I said, you know, actually it's my father-in-law who said, you can't have this basement without these seats. And he was right. I mean, it finishes it off perfectly. And sometimes I'll actually sit in these seats and watch the game, which is kind of cool. Even though that's a lot more comfortable. But yeah, so these seats are special to me because, you know, it's a part of the history of the franchise. It's from baseball's cathedral. I wish they never had a knockdown in the old stadium, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I'll always have a piece of the old stadium in my house.
And finally, to finish up, being the Yankee connoisseur that you are, as Brian Cashman and the Yankees were making their moves during this season to set themselves up for the future, were you on board with that? Were you second-guessing anything they were doing?
You know, I think getting the young kids up was the most important thing, because you never would have seen Gary Sanchez's emergence without that. And if you look back in history, if you look in '96 and you saw when they brought up Jeter and Posada and all those guys, this feels like that second round. So I agreed with, at the trade deadline, moving those guys, even though I really liked Beltran and obviously, you know, Chapman and Miller, two of the best closers. You don't want to get rid of them, but we got a lot of talent in return. I think our farm system now is one of the best in baseball. I think officially it's second or third in baseball. And, you know, getting Sanchez out there, getting Tyler Austin experience, Severino back in the bullpen, trying to find his way again. The baby bombers is where we're going. You know, there's not a great free agent class really until 2018, and everybody knows that Hal's trying to get the payroll to a certain number, so I don't see them making a huge splash unless they want to get Bryce Harper. I would be okay with that. I'd be okay with the $400 million Bryce Harper deal.
The future looks bright, and it's a future that you are part of with this organization. Thanks,
Thank you very much.